In a standard investigation, detectives rely on their senses to build the truth. They look at blood spatter, listen to witness testimony, and catalog physical weapons to piece together what happened. That entire process breaks down when the crime scene itself is engineered to lie to the investigator. Look at this footage of an apartment in Paris. To understand the fourth victim of the so-called impossible files, we have to look at a space that rotates entirely, suspending heavy furniture upside down. First responders walked into that room and found the victim hanging, not dropping from the ceiling, but suspended upward, reaching toward the floor. Gravity appeared to be reversed. This staging was designed by a mastermind who uses the physical environment to disrupt the detective's logical processing. By altering the visual field, the killer forces the authorities to question their most basic physical assumptions before they even find the body. When Detective Voss took over the case, he immediately recognized that this scene was a highly precise engineering feat. The architect of this crime bolted every piece of heavy furniture securely to the ceiling, physically flipping the visual geometry of the room. This 3D wireframe shows exactly how the trick works. The victim was actually hanging completely normally from the real ceiling, but if you shift the camera perspective 180 degrees, a normal hanging appears as an upward suspension relative to the false floor. The primary motive here was visual control. The killer engineered a scenario specifically designed to force authorities to doubt their own eyes. That manipulation soon moved from visual illusions to complex biological hacking in a different city, Berlin. A man was pronounced dead and buried. 3 days later, CCTV captured this exact footage of that same figure walking calmly down an empty street. The immediate theory suggested he used a body double to fake his death, or perhaps authorities made a catastrophic identification error. This medical chart illustrates what Detective Voss actually found. To standard equipment, the line reads as a flat line, but when magnified to reveal the microscopic data, you can see the effects of a rare toxin that slows the human heartbeat to a near-zero state. Voss realized the victim in the grave and the man on the CCTV were the exact same person. The killer hadn't targeted another man. He had administered the toxin to himself, monitoring his own biological shutdown to see exactly how long he could stay buried before the toxin wore off and he could dig his way out. This self-inflicted burial served as a field test. By enduring a medically undetectable near-death state, the killer perfected the exact dosage and timing required to deceive medical tools before he ever used the toxin on a future target. The final step in this sensory syllabus surfaced in Chicago, shifting the focus to auditory manipulation. The pattern here was deeply confusing. Victims would answer a ringing phone, listen to absolute silence, and then mysteriously collapse and die within minutes. Crime scene technicians swept the rooms for localized gas leaks or fast-acting aerosol poisons, but found absolutely nothing in the air. The weapon was actually transmitted directly through the phone's speaker. It was a highly specific, inaudible sound frequency. This cross-section shows how the frequency operates. Sound waves enter the canal, violently vibrating the delicate inner ear. As the vibration intensifies, it travels into the brain. It short-circuits the nodes of the neural network, instantly causing a fatal systemic collapse. The absolute silence on those calls was the weapon. The killer used sound we can't even hear to destroy the brain. Journalist Claire Holt was the first to realize that these isolated, physically impossible events were intrinsically connected. This diagram maps out her theory. The attacks fall into 3 distinct categories: vision, biology, and sound, all converging into a single, unified framework. These 3 cases demonstrate a method that systematically targets every way a human gathers information about the world. By compromising the eyes in Paris, the heart in Berlin, and the ears in Chicago, the killer ensures that no evidence can be trusted. The mastermind architect behind this entire pattern was a man named Adrian Locke. Locke engineered these deaths for a single philosophical purpose: to prove how easily our accepted reality can be rewritten. All of these meticulously planned cases culminated in a final confrontation between Detective Voss and Adrian Locke inside an abandoned, echoing warehouse. The 2 men represented completely opposing worldviews. Voss approached the world as a series of physical puzzles to be solved with logic, while Locke viewed his role as revealing the terrifying flaws in how we perceive the world. Standing in the center of that impossibly vast, distorted space, Locke presented his ultimate challenge to the detective. How do you catch a criminal when your own senses are actively being compromised? Adrian Locke weaponized human biology to overwrite the truth. By the time the investigation begins, the evidence has already been replaced by a reality of his own design.